In a distant village, there lived a young man named Salim and a girl named Layla. Their love story resembled the tales told during long evenings, a story of love born out of chance and woven by time. Together, they lived moments of absolute happiness, the kind of joy that only lovers experience at the beginning of their relationships. They would walk along the river that surrounded the village, talking about their dreams for the future, planning a life filled with joy. But, as life often goes, nothing stays the same. Over time, the distance between their hearts began to grow, though neither of them realized it at first. There was no clear reason for this gap, but gradually, the feelings between them started to fade. Words no longer flowed as easily as they once did, and their meetings became filled with a silence that screamed louder than any conversation. Layla began to feel that Salim was no longer the same. She no longer saw that spark in his eyes that once drew her to him. Every time they sat together, she felt her soul drifting further away. As for Salim, he found himself wondering why he no longer felt the same eagerness to see Layla, why he now preferred solitude over spending time with her. One evening, as they sat under an old tree, they decided to speak honestly. Layla, her eyes filled with sorrow, said, "Salim, I don't know what happened to us. I feel like our love is fading day by day." Salim sighed and replied, "I feel it too, Layla. But has everything really come to an end?" Time seemed to stop for a moment, and the silence that followed was heavier than any answer. They both realized that the love that once united them was no longer the same. There was no betrayal or deceit, but simply, their love had faded away, much like colors fade with time. They decided to part ways, not with anger or resentment, but in peace. They knew that love, like a flower, needs care and attention, and if neglected, it withers and dies. The end of their love was not a failure, but a lesson in life. Years later, whenever Salim walked by the river or Layla sat under the old tree, they would remember the love that had ended. Yet they understood that life goes on, and love comes and goes. Perhaps one day they would find love again, but the love they had shared would always remain a part of their memories, a love that taught them much, even if its end was sad. And so, Salim and Layla's love story came to an end, not with tears or regret, but with a quiet acceptance of how things had turned out, and with the understanding that love, like life, goes through its stages and ends when the time is right.